Sorry for the poor video quality, but this is what the setup I'm using looks like. So the two GoPros are in some sort of like skeleton housing that shouldn't affect audio or video quality, and the Yi is just attached via a mount on the bottom. Something that I think is very it's not the best attached. Something that I think is very interesting. All these screens are on max brightness, and the Yi you can't really see. Two GoPros you can see a lot better. Even though the Yi screen I think is the biggest, but it's just not as bright. So all the settings are on default really. Stabilization is on whenever it can be on. The Yi's microphone is set to low as it distorts even more when it's set to high. When a specific piece of footage from a certain camera is shown, the audio is used from that camera. If all three cameras are being shown at the same time, the audio is from the Hero 7. We are mainly comparing the best quality that you can at a certain frame rate. So instead of saying the resolution, it's just set to the max resolution and you can see how good it looks. And we're using the highest possible resolution at that frame rate. For example at 60 FPS, then the Hero 7 is going to be doing 4K, so is the Yi, and the Hero 4 is going to be doing 1080p. Okay, so I think this is probably the settings that most people use, which is 60 FPS, but with the max resolution they can do. I'm holding them all at a reasonable distance away from my face. Hopefully the audio quality is okay. We can see the stabilization when I walk. This is walking normally. Then run, like a light run. Because only the GoPro can do stabilization at this resolution and frame rate. And so if you quickly look at the detail, for example at this res and frame rate, and then we'll do some more running, some walking. That's what this looks like. Okay, so this is to simulate if you wanted to only film at 30 FPS and what sort of detail you should be expecting. So both the Yi and the GoPro are stabilized. So he's walking, running. Yeah, and you can see some detail and how much cropping it got. Some more, little bit of running. Okay, this is more of a stabilization and detail comparison between the Yi and the new GoPro. So this is if you wanted 60 FPS, but also wanted stabilization. So it's 2.7K on the Yi rather than 4K. So he's walking, brisk walking, running. That's like really shaky running. And then see my face walking. There you go. Okay, so we're back at 4K 60 or 1080p 60, whatever the max resolution is, at 60 FPS. It's a little bit windy, so hopefully you can kind of see how the audio compares. I think that's really important. Obviously now I'm kind of far away, so I don't know if you can hear me decently, or if I speak over here. Can you still hear me decently well? I think audio is extremely important just for how the camera works generally, and kind of see like motion blur and stabilization at this spinning. I don't know what I'm doing. Here's some more far off detail. Getting a restarting the year, I had a slow card warning, which is very annoying. So hopefully it's not all messed up. So yeah, that's the detail at max FPS. Let's maybe do a time lapse or something now. Okay, this is to compare detail of the cameras for long distance. This is to test exposure transitions. And how it deals with bright and dark context. This is the detail when fully zoomed in on 1080p narrow. And this is on something that is textured at closer range. Okay, so we're going into a foresty area, which should definitely test the bit rate, as lots of people will be using it at this very high bit rate. I mean, I don't know, these on Mac, it will test the bit rate, basically what I'm trying to say. And exposure. See if my face still looks okay. Okay, so I'm going to start filming Jacob walking. 3, 2, 1. This is what the general quality looks like at 120 FPS. This is what the general quality looks like at 240 FPS. Stabilization is pretty poor on all of them. This is all three in the 4:3 aspect ratio at 30 FPS. This is similar to see how much of a wide angle you get, how much you get in the view. So this is all of them on 30 FPS super view, so you can see the distortion and the size of the, like, how much you get in your frame. We are now at 120 FPS on all the cameras to simulate attempting to take slow-mo video in not very good light. It's a bit extreme, it's not crazy dark, but it's pretty dark. So this is a kind of dark room with the ISO limited to 6400, all at 30 FPS. This is a typical indoor scene at 30 FPS at max resolution. Just to see the low light capabilities. Same shot, but with all of them on 60 FPS with low light turned off on all of them. So now we're all at 30 FPS max resolution. Dark scenario. Okay, still at 30 FPS. Now outside. See what it's like in the dark outside. Okay then, here it is. Outside a bit more. This is now with the ISO limited to 1600, so there's less grain. It's not like crazy low light, but it's definitely at night. Still with the limited ISO. There you go. Unfortunately, it seems like the Yi just deleted all of its footage from the night lapse, so I don't have any of that, even though it technically still can do a night lapse, but I don't think it's as good as the two GoPros anyway. Okay, so this is an audio test for all the cameras. The Yi is on the low setting because the high setting is absolutely awful. The other two are just on normal. So this is me speaking normally from about a foot away from the back of the cameras. Here's me speaking normally about a foot away from the front of the cameras. This is kind of speaking reasonably loud. You can kind of see how you think the audio sounds if I speak very quietly. Can you hear what I'm saying? I'm not sure. Can you hear what I'm saying? So I think that the problem with the Yi is that if you speak really loudly or if there's something really loud, it distorts a bunch, even more so when it's on the high microphone setting. So I'm now going to quickly simulate what it's like if you were in a concert or something, which the Yi, I'm telling you right now, will sound absolutely horrible. So this is about a foot away, just simulated quite a loud music.
And imagine a utopia. Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They weigh me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm trying to live inside the upside down. For me, pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa.
So that's not like ridiculously loud. A concert would be way louder, even though that's really close to the speaker, but just an example of the audio quality. Okay, we have all three cameras in their waterproof housing. I'm not doing the like video tests really because my waterproof housings are a bit damaged. You can see that the Hero 7 doesn't have a waterproof housing. That's because it's waterproof anyway. So here's the audio test with the waterproof housings on. Okay, so this is me speaking reasonably normally, about 1 foot away. I know it's in a different position, but that's just because it doesn't fit on my thing that I've made. So I'm just putting them on the ground to make it equal. So this is me speaking quite a bit louder, like the maximum normal talking voice you would do. So this is as loud as probably a normal person speaking would ever be to the camera. Now we will do some audio.
These expectations
Kind of average volume.
My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm trying to live inside the upside down. Pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see.
Okay, so that's the full audio test to test the sounds of the cameras. Okay, so this is an audio test for all the cameras. The Yi is on the low setting because the high setting is absolutely awful. The other two are just on normal. Okay, so this is an audio test for all the cameras. The Yi is on the low setting because the high setting is absolutely awful. The other two are just on normal. Okay, so this is an audio test for all the cameras. The Yi is on the low setting because the high setting is absolutely awful. The other two are just on normal. So in conclusion, I think that the Hero 7 Black is clearly the best in pretty much every single way, which is kind of unsurprising as it's easily the most expensive, but I was actually very surprised at how bad the Yi was, to be honest, because I'd seen some other videos saying like, oh, the Yi's not too much worse than the Hero 7 Black, and you could cheap out and get a Yi, but I'm kind of annoyed that I bought that. I'm going to be selling my Hero 4 Silver and my Yi because they're both so much worse than Hero 7. First of all, stabilization is amazing on the Hero 7. On the Yi it's okay, and obviously the GoPro doesn't have, sorry, the Hero 4 doesn't really have any of that, so any stabilization, so yeah. And if you're looking at pictures, I would definitely not get a Yi. The Hero 4 is still quite good, and the Hero 7 is a bit better, but it's not like absolute night and day. Rather than video, I think the Hero 7 is way better than the others. Maybe not in low light. In low light, it's a bit balanced. They're all like not that great in low light, so it's not like a clear winner in that sense. But in pretty much every other part, I think the Hero 7 is way better, especially in slow motion. If you look at them, the Yi looks a little bit better probably than the Hero 4, but not by as much as you'd hope. It's just the colors seem like really muted on the Yi compared with the GoPros. And the audio on the Yi is just kind of awful. The Hero 4 audio might be better than the Hero 7, but as if you want your Hero 4 to be durable or waterproof, you have to put it in a case, then the Hero 7 is way better than the Hero 4 in a case. So it's kind of a bit unfair. So the Hero 7, I think, overall is best for audio. Time lapses, I think the Hero 7 is also the best, because one thing that I think that helps the Hero 7 so much is it looks like the focus is a lot further distance, so you're making the most of that 4K if anything's more than a few meters away, rather than the Yi seems to be out of focus, which really is kind of unacceptable and pointless. So yeah, I think that you probably should, if you're cheap, go for a Hero 4. And if you've got the money to spend, go for a Hero 7. It depends. The Hero 5 and Hero 6, I decided not to get either of them because they seemed like not a massive upgrade, but I think it is actually pretty good to have a camera that, even though it's heavier and a bit bigger, have one that has the waterproof housing, because it's just kind of more convenient. So maybe you might want to go for a Hero 5 rather than a Hero 4 Silver. I think the Hero 4 Black is a bit pointless. It doesn't have the back screen. Just go for a Hero 5 if you want that frame rate. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. I'm actually so pleased with my Hero 7. I'm going to sell my other two, because clearly the Hero 7 is the best.